What's going on YouTube? So today's video is going to be about training and the way I train and how I get my clients to train, and I want to give you an idea on what you should do with your training. Obviously it's subjective and goal dependent, but one thing I wanted to do was, so within 2 or 3 years of PTing people, I realised that the best results are coming from the clients that I train the most frequently. So I thought to myself, right, I need to think of a way to enable my clients to train harder without me being there, because there's only so many hours in my day. And there's only so much money someone's got as a client, right? So better afford to have sessions. So I thought, how can I make a client get amazing results by training with me just once a week or twice a week, rather than training 4 or 5 times a week, all with me? So I'm looking for these ideas. We're rolling through training programs. I'm thinking this isn't enough. So they're not training hard enough on their own, and the sessions with me are only going to give them so much because it's not frequent enough. So what can I do? What can I create to make this happen, to make people train harder? Because intensity is so big, right? So you can train, like, you'll know people who've been training in the gym for 4, 5, 6, 7 years, and they look no different because they don't train very hard. And this normally isn't their fault. It's just they don't know how to train. They haven't been taught how to train. They're too stubborn to actually pay for PT or pay for someone who knows what they're doing to teach them how to train. It's like when their car gets fucked up, they'll go straight to the mechanic. But when they're trying to get their body sorted out, they're too stubborn. They think it's embarrassing to ask a PT for help. But that's relevant. I'm trying to give you an idea on what I was looking for as a PT to try and help my clients get better results. So it was a case of, right, we need to find a way to make them train as hard as they train with me on their own. So what I'm teaching them in the sessions is then translatable into their own sessions on their own, so they don't always need me. Because the idea is for me to train a client and say, okay, this is what you're going to do on your own. You don't need me now. So I've taught you the movements, I've taught you how to handle your diet and how to make things progressible to make sure you get the results that you want. Now go away and do it on your own. Like, I don't want you to need me the whole time. It's like people who go to Slimming World or Weight Watchers. They need that. They need Slimming World or Weight Watchers. Whereas my clients don't need me. They just like to use me because they train harder when they're with me, and I'm holding them accountable, and I guarantee results. Whereas when they're on their own, they can get a little bit slack. They lose that accountability. But generally speaking, they don't actually need me because they know what to do. The training, they know how to train. They know how to eat. They understand the whole process and all the variables they need to manage to get the result they want. Because I teach them it. That's the idea of my coaching program. That's what I do. But with regards to when they're on their own, I wanted to get them to train harder. So I'm constantly looking for these new programs. What makes someone train harder on their own? There was never anything that worked until about just over a year ago. I started working with a coach who made me logbook my sessions. If you want to look him up, it's Jordan Peters. He's one of the top coaches in the UK, if not in the world, and he's literally changing the game with regards to the way people train, and everyone's jumped on the bandwagon. Like, he's training the best bodybuilders in the UK at the moment, and some in the world as well, all over the place. And he's not just as a bodybuilding standpoint either. The way he progressive overload is the game changer. Right? So progressive overload is the most important thing, and he just focuses solely on that. And you can apply that to any level of fitness. So whether it's bodybuilding, whether it's like CrossFit, or whether it's just running around the block, that you can make it progressive, right? Because you've got to time it and beat it, which is what I enjoy. I'm a really competitive person, and my clients are all the same. So if I've got 2 clients together, they'll be really competitive with each other, and I thought that, oh, this competition works. But it wasn't until I started logbooking my sessions in this book that I realised, okay, now I'm more motivated every time I go in the gym, because my session, I've got to beat my previous effort. And once you get onto a program that's like, let's say you follow a program for 16 weeks, that means you've done that session 16 times potentially, or 8 times if it's a 2-week rotation. I like to work for 2-week rotations. So 1 week is like, at the moment I'm doing push, pull, legs, upper, lower, okay? And I'll have rotation 1, push, pull, legs, upper, lower, rotation 2, push, pull, legs, upper, lower. The same for most of my clients as well. So they have week 1 and week 2, then they go back to week 1 and week 3, and back to week 2 and week 4. And then they'll roll through that for literally as long as we need to, until they can't progress lifts anymore. And that normally takes a long time, right? So stop jumping program to program, because you don't need to. You need to literally be consistent with one program, probably for a year. Because if you're watching this video, you're probably a beginner, or someone who is still someone who hasn't maxed out their progress that they can make with regards to their lifts without. But you need to exhaust a program. Stop jumping from program to program, because that's your biggest issue. It's like jumping from diet to diet. Like, you need to stick with one and just become the master of it. So if you imagine you're doing a bench press every other week for 16 weeks, that's 8 opportunities to progress your lift. So if you start at 70 kilos, within that 16-week period, you could be at 90 kilos by the end of it, and your chest will show that progress, trust me. And that's where this thing comes in handy, because you can't cheat your logbook. If you go in, and like people do, don't get me wrong, people logbook their sessions, And you'll see people in the gym who logbook, and you can tell that they don't logbook properly because they bottle it, because their lift is in there and they know they've got to beat it, and they just haven't got it in them. Because there's days where I think I've got to do a hack squat today or a deadlift, and I'll think about it for like 3 or 4 days. Well, that's going to be so hard to beat. But when you actually get through that fucking stop being a pussy and you go in and beat that lift, that's when you're like, yes, smashed it. Then the next time he comes around, you're doing the same thing again, you're nervous about it. But then this is when you make the serious changes to your body, because it's adaptations that have got to occur because you're doing things that you can't normally do. And that's the secret. So whether you're bodybuilding, whether you're trying to get fitter, whether you're trying to lose weight, whatever training type you're doing, make it progressive, because you're always making improvements, so your body has to adapt because you're doing a stimulus that hasn't done before. That's the most important thing. Once again, I've made this video really long, I'm really sorry, but I can't stress the importance of logbooking. So if you're in the gym and you aren't writing down your sessions, then you are wasting an opportunity to make huge progress. Trust me. So all of my clients will have a logbook. If they turn up to a session with me without a logbook, I'm fuming. They've got to have a logbook, and I need them to have that, because that's their progression, right? So you can't just say, oh, I remember it, because you won't. Like, I played that game 3 or 4 years, and I didn't make nowhere near as much progress as I have in the last year since I've done my logbooking. So trust me, it's a game changer with regards to the progress that you can make, whether it's building muscle, losing body fat, whatever goal you've got, you will make better improvements and better progress if you logbook. Trust me. It'll make you train harder, and that's the goal. The goal is to train harder, whether I'm there saying 2 more reps or whether you're on your own, which is the case for most people, right? So forget about being embarrassed for having a good book in the gym. Don't think you're going to be a loser for having one. Just think, if I consistently use this, I'm going to get really fucking strong, and then people are going to be like, yeah, fair play. Or if I consistently use this, I'm going to get really fucking fit, and people are going to be like, yeah, fair play, he's fit as fuck. Or she's fit as fuck. Or she's done so well losing all that weight. Because your training is progressive. And once your training is progressive, then your diet is also progressive, because when you train like an absolute savage, and you train really hard, you won't fuck up your diet, because you'll think, what's the fucking point? I just killed myself in the gym, now I'm going to go and eat like a burger and 3 bottles of wine. But obviously with flexibility, we can do that now. We realise that, but I'm trying to teach you the whole process. But yeah, training wise, start logbooking, and I'm going to show you now my 2 most recent sessions, and I'm going to give you like a commentary the whole way through, and hopefully you can get an idea on the way I train and the way I like to do things. And yeah, for me at the minute, I'm obviously preparing for a show, so a lot of it is bodybuilding based. But my cardio now, it isn't bodybuilding based, because it normally would be like a low intensity steady state cardio. It'd be like a Stairmaster or a walk on the treadmill. I do a bit of walking, but that's just for my own like mindset. Most of my cardio now is like explosive, almost like a CrossFit functional approach. But I'll share videos on that too in the coming weeks, I'm sure. But yeah, hope you enjoy this video. And if you have any questions with regards to your own training, then by all means, please give me a shout. And if you enjoy this kind of thing, like a commentary behind the workouts, then I'll do them more often. But yeah, hope you enjoy. Okay, so this is going to be like 14 minutes of me talking. So the first thing you're going to see here is a mobility warm-up that I go through. And I'm going to basically try and explain through everything that I do, each exercise and how it works. And I'm going to try and make this 14-minute video first take, this 14-minute recording of the commentary. So I've got my logbook in front of me, I've been through all my lifts, and basically I've filmed, rather than filming one set per exercise, I've filmed most of my sets, and I want to explain what I've done today. Mobility is something that I've always neglected, so hence is why I'm doing this video right now, to show you guys how I try and prepare myself. I'm deadlifting today, so I'd always go through, or try at least go through a mobility warm-up before deadlifting or squatting, and this definitely helped me before I went into my deadlifts. Yeah, I try and do that before every session, so it takes 2 to 3 minutes, but I'm not consistent enough of it, hence why my mobility sucks, but you'll see that in my squats in a minute. But yeah, this is the lower session that I did, so we're going to share a lower session and an upper session so you get an idea of both. Yeah, you can split it into 2 watchings if you want. At the end of the lower session I'll let you know, and then the upper session you can watch later or whatever, depends how much of a dose of me you want to get today. Always start my deadlift with a seated curl before or a lying curl before, just to get my hamstrings fired up, nothing too heavy. Then I went straight into my deadlifts. This was a set of 8, and again I'm adding weight back onto the bar. This is 150 for 8 reps, and pre-travelling I was up to 190 for 8, so it sucks I'm not nowhere near that now, but my body weight is probably about 9 kilo lighter as well, so I feel a lot better and a lot healthier. But yeah, these felt good. hard, but I'll add more weight to the bar next time, and I'll do these again in 2 weeks' time. Form could be improved a little bit, but I was happy with these, to be fair, they felt good. And then after that movement, I did 2 sets of deadlifts. I've only done 1 set. I did a set of 12 after this, so I went down to 130 kilos. Then I did a Smith squat, and we had 40 each side for 8 reps. This is the first set, and I always do a set of 8, and I always do a set of 12. But I always aim for that kind of range. So I go for a 6 to 10 first set, and I go for a 12 to 15 set 2. I just do 2 sets per exercise. Some exercises will be a bit different, but majority speaking, I'll go for a heavy set, a heavy loading set, and a lighter set on that exercise. And you can see here, looking every single session this happens. Let's make sure I keep making my progress, hence why I spoke about that in the video before. But yeah, then I've got my second set of Smith squats, run a little bit lighter, so the weight always drops, okay? You shouldn't be able to do the same weight for 12 that you can do for 8, so the weight drops down, and yeah, 12 reps on this weight, and felt quite comfortable, to be fair. Again, depth can be better, but that's when my hips are so tight. I'm going to work on that, but there's just so much time sat down, so I'm sat down now doing this commentary. I'm on my feet a lot, to be fair, more than most people, but definitely need some more mobility work. Then I move on to leg press. You'll notice that all these movements are compound movements. I don't waste my time doing isolation movements. I did a seated curl at the beginning, admittedly, but that was literally just a warm up, just to get my hamstrings fired up before deadlifting. Most of my exercises will be compound lift, so just to make, basically I do the hard stuff because I spent too much time in my early years of training doing the isolation movements too much. And the compound stuff is harder, and you get more out of it, hence why I do it more. So my training time is limited now because I'm so busy with work, so when I train I do it properly. Yeah, and I did a set of 12 first, then I did a plate each side and did a set of 8, and I feel like I could get a lot more weight on this bar, but we will increase that weight next time around, definitely. I went for a high and wide stance, which felt a bit nicer, especially with my hips being so tight, my glutes being tight. After that I went into a glute bridge, and again these are nowhere near the weight I was shifting before travelling, but it is what it is. I'm now weak. I did 110 kilos for 12. I did 2 sets. Rather than increase the weight, I wanted to improve the form in set 2. This was set 1, the form wasn't great, but my glutes were in bits doing these. After that I went into some leg extensions, and then some lying hamstring curls and a little bit of calves at the end. So with leg extensions we did 15 reps for 2 sets, and I went a little bit heavier than I normally would. So on here, obviously now we're on to isolation movements. I normally go a little bit lighter and focus on the contraction, just because I just prefer to do that when I'm on machines. But this today, I felt like I was in a good mood from the deadlift and the leg press. So I thought, you know what, let's put some more weight on and just spend some time on the tension, rather than focus on completely, because for me here, I should be getting a little bit higher on that rep. So my range of motion isn't where I'd like it to be, or where it would be with a lighter weight. But next week, I'll do a lighter weight and I'll focus on the top part of the movement. So I'm always working on every part of that movement. So there's not just one leg extension, there's a different way of doing it. So you can go lighter and work on the top part, or you can go over heavier load and work on that stretch, and just by spending more time on the tension under a bigger load. But yeah, that was 15 reps for 2 sets. Then we did the same on lying hamstring curls, I believe. And then I did a set of 8 and a set of 12, so you can see both sets here. And yeah, again, these felt really good. This machine is the same machine. So at Pure Gym, where I used to work, the machines are all the same. So I'm really used to this machine now, and it really helped me really get into a good position to make it work. Some people find they don't feel it as much on here, but it's one of them things where you just keep doing it, and then you'll get into a good position where you're like, yeah, I like this movement now, and it becomes, once you can start firing muscle tissue, it becomes a lot easier to make big jumps in progress. But again, that comes with practice, so just keep getting under the bar or doing these exercises, and the more you do them right, the better you're going to get them. So yeah, hopefully you can take something from my form here. Doesn't look too bad. I'm trying to always control my negatives down, trying to be that consistent, and then explosive on the way up. And the last exercise was a Smith machine calf raise. And what I'm doing here is I'm going to do 10 reps with a different angle of my toes and heel for every 10 reps. So little baby legs. But yeah, always focus on stretching down that calf at the bottom. A lot of people look at that part of the movement. And then I'll put my toes out, my heels in, the next 10. Just to try and stimulate a different part of the calf. And by the time you get to the third part of the movement, you're already in absolute agony, and then you smash out another 10. But the range of motion, certainly by the last 3, 4, 5 reps, was poor.
hence why in my next set I then start in the reverse order to then give this upper part movement more attention. But yeah, okay, that was my leg session. Now upper sessions. This is the day later, and I'm starting off with a Smith incline press. I was supposed to have a training partner, but George bottled it, so I was on my own for the most of the session. So I had to stick my tripod on and try and film it at the best angle I could. And then, thank God, someone came and filmed me for the rest of the session, so the angles are a lot better. I can't find an angle to save my life. But yeah, on here I did, let's find it in my logbook, I did a set of 12 first with 30 each side, which felt good. And then I put 40 each side, which I didn't film, and I got like 3 reps. So then I went back down to 35, and I got a set of 8. So next week I'll do the 8 first at 40, just because the 12 will take a little bit of energy away from me before I go into my heavy loading set, which is my priority really. The loading set's always the most important one. There's that set of 8 for me, and normally I'd like to do it first, but I'm still trying to find my way back from travelling at the moment. So these are exercises that I haven't done for a long time. So I've been back in training. I've been back training press for a few months now, but I'm doing barbell press or dumbbell press on incline. So here I am doing some weighted pull-ups. First set was 20 kilo for 8 reps, and second set was 10 kilo for 10 reps. No, there's a set of body weight after this as well. Yeah, this is probably one of my favourite movements for back, just because I feel it so much doing them, and it's functional. I like that aspect to it. The angle here is cracking, ain't it? But yeah, the aim is always to try to lower myself down, always a full range of motion, so a big full stretch, and then get up as high as you can. Towards these last few reps I'm getting nowhere near as high as I'd like, but yeah, these felt good. And then I moved into a different movement, so it's the shoulder press variation that I was not actually putting in my program, so I didn't actually intend to do this, but I didn't want to push press after doing a barbell press or a Smith machine press because my shoulders felt a bit irritated, so I thought this would be a lot more safe on my shoulder, and I wanted to give it a try, and that felt really good. And you'll notice that my right arm, I'm dominant, I'm in a good position, I'm quite strong with my core. Then when I shift to my left arm, it is the opposite. So I get 12 reps with my right arm. This is on set 2. So I've got 18 kilos for set 1, 12 reps right arm, 12 reps left arm. And then I go for my second set and I film it, and I've got 12 on the right arm, and then my left arm I think I've got 10 or 9, which I've written in my logbook. So you can see already, look at that face. I should have realised I was on camera, Jesus. But yeah, I'm trying to give you guys an idea on the kind of intensity that I train at. So I don't want to be like a dick and say, oh yeah, I train really hard. I used to think I trained hard, but I didn't. And it wasn't until I started logbooking I realised actually I do train pretty hard for myself. It's subjective, right? How hard you train. You're always trying to push yourself more than we've done before. But you'll see every working set I'm trying to always hit failure. And when you do that, that's when you're going to create so many good changes in your body. But when you train at a rate where you're always using the same weights, or you're always doing the same thing, you're never really doing anything that you haven't done before, then you're not going to make the progress that you expect to make. So I'm always trying to increase the weight, or increase the reps, or do something that my body hasn't done before, or I hadn't done in a while. I used to do more than all of this before I went travelling, but it was worth it because it was the best thing I've ever done, and it's changed me for the better 100%. And I've come back now, and yeah, I'm loving life because the experience while I was away has enabled me to do more with what I'm doing at home, so it's good. Yeah, the dumbbell pullover next. I did 2 sets of 12, I think, with the same weight because 38 kilos. A set of 8, I think it was a set of 8. It's the highest dumbbell we've got at the gym. Yeah, I did that. Now I did the dumbbell press on a low incline. So this is a number 2 rather than number 3, or number 3 rather than number 4 on the bench. I like to vary the inclines that I use. So I either go high incline, medium incline, low incline, or flat, or a full-on shoulder press. And you can see here that my shoulder mobility isn't pretty. The exercise itself felt good, but watching it back now, I'm not really liking it. But chest felt good doing it, and it wasn't irritating on my shoulder. You'll notice that I've got Ollie behind me that's assisting me in my first rep and the loading high, just because from the bottom part of the movement, I find that if it's too heavy, I can do problems to my shoulder or my neck, which I did before. Just most recently, actually, just by trying to lug the big dumbbells up from the bottom of the movement. So as you can see here, I don't come down nowhere near as low as I do on my first rep because it irritates my shoulders. But I can still get enough chest stimulation by doing this range of motion. Ideally, I'd like to go deeper, but I am not very mobile, hence why I'm doing mobility stuff in the mornings and before my sessions and whenever I get a bit of free time in the gym. From there, we move into a bent over row. You'll notice that I'm not doing this chest or not doing this shoulders. I'm doing a full upper body session. which enables me to hit my muscle groups at higher frequency, which is proven in research to get better results. So I'll do a push-pull legs, then an upper-lower, so I'm doing every muscle group twice a week, and a minimum twice a week, and I'll hit it with different exercises, different variations, and I'll make sure I'm progressing my lesson every time I do it. So that is the goal. These are rack rows. I was going to do a row from the floor. There's pendlay rows in my plan, but I did deadlifts the day before. As you know, my lower back was not ready to do that, so I did these instead, and they felt good. And then I went into a dead stop shoulder press, which is a movement. Like I was trying to find a good shoulder pressing movement in this gym, because they haven't got the same machines that I had in my previous gym. And I've started to do this, and I like it quite a lot. And again, it's better on my shoulder than a normal shoulder press, because I've got that dead stop at the bottom, and it takes that momentum as well. So I enjoyed these. I did a set of 12 first, just to make sure I warm my shoulder up completely before doing a heavier set. And now I went up putting another 5 kilo each side of the bar. Again, logbook in every single session. More weight, 8 reps. And when I do this, when I go from a higher rep set into a lower rep set, I'll always rest a little bit longer. So my rest period is dictated by when I feel ready, not by a clock. I used to go by the clock, but now my main focus is intensity. So that comes within my working set and not within my rest periods. There's no way I'm doing a retake because I'm already this far into the video and I've got like a minute to go. First time through, what a boss. But yeah, and then that's my logbook again. This is what you must be doing. You must logbook your sessions. Okay, after that we move into a seated dumbbell side lateral, and I do lots of variations of this movement. So my shoulders for me are a lagging body part, and with me competing in physique, that is not good. So I'm hitting these with most sessions now in a different variation each time. So either doing standing, or I do on a cable with one arm, or dumbbell with one arm, or there's loads of variations that you can do. And yeah, this is one of my favourite ones. The first set was filmed as well, which was heavier, but Ollie didn't have it in the right setting, so it didn't come out very good. And yeah, and then I move into the last exercise, which is a superset, which I don't normally do too often, but I do add them in now and then, just for a bit of volume at the end, just to do some rear delts. So I did some face pulls, and then I used a band and I pulled it apart. I think I did 12 reps for each. I did 2 sets and that was me done. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I hope it's given you a bit of an insight into the way I train. Yeah, it's failure sets all the time. Always push my body to do what it hadn't done before, and mainly compound lifts. And at the end of each workout, I'll always go into isolation movements. It's just to try and help with blood flow, help with recovery, and just to feel that pump, because everyone likes to feel that pump. But yeah, these felt awesome. These bands are only cheap as well, so get one, they're a good investment. But yeah, that's it. That's the video done. Hope you enjoyed that, guys, and thank you so much for watching. Hit like, and if you haven't already, subscribe, and I will see you next week with some more cool videos. Have a good weekend. Cheers, guys.